Y'all phones.
Okay.
And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show. It's almost like we have two shows in one today. So we have a huge amount of guests to go through, lots and lots of good information. But let's just go ahead and kick it off. And first of all, let's welcome Columbus Metropolitan Library CEO. Lauren, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Nothing going on at the library in the summertime, right? Everything's kind of dull?
Very dull.
Yeah, I figured as much. Library's been here for just over a year. Tell us about what the impact of the library has been. What's the best part about the Reynoldsburg Library?
Oh, that's hard to pick. That's like asking who's your favorite child. I will tell you that my favorite part about the Reynoldsburg Library, though, is the teen space. It is something that's unique to the Reynoldsburg branch, and we were able to work with teens from Reynoldsburg to help design that space. And it is just so cool and has been so well used. I also think that the children's space is pretty spectacular. A lot of great
I typically
things.
don't get into the children's space as much, but the teen space is nice, and the meeting space has been phenomenal. We've already partnered on a number of occasions to have some functions for the city there, and it's been really good. So it is warmer out finally.
Yes.
If this was last week's show, then no, it wouldn't have been warm, but now it's finally warm. So what's summer programming look like? Is there anything specific? Is there some new cool things that they're rolling out?
So this is the Summer Reading Challenge time. So we just kicked off Summer Reading Challenge on May 31st. And this is great timing to be here with you today because the kickoff for the Reynoldsburg branch is tomorrow. Okay. So we'll have a lot of different things, activities and special guests. And so we hope everyone will come out tomorrow from 4 to 6. The Summer Reading Challenge is our signature program where we encourage kids and people of all ages, really, to engage in reading for 15 minutes a day. And in doing so, you are eligible for really fun and cool prizes.
That doesn't include social media, does it? It's actual reading?
Well, reading. But
reading.
It can include audiobooks, that is reading,
there we go.
And ebooks as well.
All right, well, that's good. What are some of the more popular things that go on in libraries in general? What do you see? And I realize that's going to change depending on the age group and things like that, but what are some of the most popular things that are available at public libraries?
So lots of great things. I would speak first to kids' activities. So our story times, our Reading Buddies program, our school help centers, and then our Summer Reading Challenge programs, things like that are immensely popular throughout the year, depending on what we're offering. For adults, there are a lot of things that are popular. A lot of it has to do with our spaces. So our meeting rooms, our study rooms, our computers, access to free Wi-Fi, those things are really popular. In many of our locations, we offer different programming to help people find jobs, maybe learn English, connect with their neighbors through English conversation tables if English is a language that they're trying to learn. The space itself, though, is something that I think people of all ages really like to take advantage of and can use it in a variety of different ways.
It's a nice option. Every time I go there, it looks active, but not like crowded, I guess is probably the best way. There's obviously people everywhere, but it's not something where you feel like there's any claustrophobia or that there's too many people. So the busiest time of the day at the library, so I was in on Monday, we did a function for a Bryce Road meeting, and I asked them what they thought the busiest time was, and they said really during the school year it's just that time period after school. Now that the summer's here, it's a little bit more consistent. But if you notice, is there any busier time of the day than not for the libraries?
Generally, I would agree with that statement. The time after school is the most busy time of the day, and then I think weekends tend to be very busy. So Sunday hours are actually some of our busiest hours of the week. So we only are open 4 hours on Sundays, but those are very busy times. And then Saturday is pretty busy as well, particularly if there's children's programming.
All right, so I did get one question sent ahead, so I'm going to go ahead and read that right now before my last question. So this is, as a local certified Orton-Gillingham tutor working one-on-one with individuals who have dyslexia or struggle with reading, I know the library shares a similar mission, promoting and supporting literacy. Given that dyslexia affects up to 20% of the learners and is one of the most common barriers to reading, could you explain what the Columbus Metropolitan Library System is doing to support these issues around dyslexia?
Absolutely. So I appreciate
Did you actually have somebody send that in ahead of time? That seems almost like a planted question.
No,
So,
it wasn't.
yeah,
But
okay.
my team did help me to make sure I had all the information that I could share related to that. So our Young Minds program leader, who is the person that oversees our Young Minds programming, is actually trained in OGs, and she is the person that oversees all of our services for kids that are 0 to 5, as well as supporting our Reading Buddies program, which is targeted toward kids kindergarten to 3rd grade. And so we incorporate principles of OG and the science of reading into all of our programming so that it can be helpful to individuals with dyslexia or other challenges in learning to read. So just a couple of examples. We always have a letter of the week in our story times and our Ready for Kindergarten classes. So where kids have a chance to practice letter recognition and doing that through sound and also through a multi-sensory approach, which is really important from an OG perspective. That includes things like naming letters, saying the letter sounds, and then drawing the letters in various ways. So that might be in the air or in the carpet so that you get that multi-sensory approach.
So that seems like that might cost an awful lot of money. So how are libraries currently funded?
Libraries are funded in primarily 2 ways. So we are funded by a property tax levy that is been supported by the people that live in the district that we are responsible for providing services to. And then we also receive about 20% of our budget for Columbus Metropolitan Library comes from the state through what is referred to as the Public Library Fund. And right now it is a percentage of the general revenue fund, and that is then distributed to all libraries across the state of Ohio to support our work.
So there's a lot of talk about how that may be changing, and nothing is settled yet because the House had their version, the Senate has theirs, and then they get to get back and forth and they get to have a conversation about it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, would you prefer that the state maintains the current system of funding as it is now, as opposed to other formulas that they're putting out there?
Absolutely. It is a stable source of funding. It's been in place for more than 20 years, and it's been really effective for how libraries across the state work together. And the shift to a line item appropriation puts that stability at risk and makes it challenging for libraries to plan for the future.
All right. So I would just guess, being the amateur that I am, that if you wanted that message to resonate with those that are going to be making the decisions at the Senate and the House over the next little bit, probably the best way would be to contact members of the Finance Committee and other organizations, and just the House and the Senate in general. And those things are available online at the Ohio House website and the Ohio Senate website. You can go ahead and just find their emails, put them in there, and have all that information out. Because I think that for something like this, they need to know the impact that funding has on the library system and what the benefits are. And it's not like this is something where they're going to get, no one in the city of Reynoldsburg is going to get a refund for this particular amount of money that's going to be there. It's just going to be money that is taken away from the public library
Absolutely.
system. So I would highly recommend you do those two terrific things. Any questions? Anything coming online?
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Please let us know if there's anything we can do to promote. I'm sure I will be in the library again in the next week or so.
I'd love to hear that, and please come to the kickoff tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the first wonderful guests of 3 wonderful guest groups. The next group that's coming up is the Reynoldsburg Community Association. So come on down. In just about a month is the 4th of July, and so there's a lot of things with there. So tell me about the 4th of July, the status of the parade. How are we looking? What's going on?
We are really excited. We're going to have another great 4th of July parade this year. We currently have 30 entries at this point.
Okay.
And so we're always looking to increase the size of the parade. The bigger, the better. At this point, if you're a civic group, if you're an organization, if you're a business, if you're running for political office, and would be interested in being in the parade, there's several different ways you can access that application. I believe there's some in the kiosk down here at the entrance to City Hall. If you go to the city's Parks and Recs website, there's a link to our website, or you can go to www.reynoldsburgcommunityassociation.org and fill that out online. We're also excited to announce that our Grand Marshal for the 2025 parade, our theme for the 2025 parade is celebrating Reynoldsburg's future, and our Grand Marshal for our 2025 parade will be our Reynoldsburg High School bowling team and Reynoldsburg High School basketball team, both of whom were state finalists this year. So we're excited to recognize those young people for their accomplishments.
Anything else,
Yes,
Matt?
we are.
You look like you were ready to jump right in.
No, I was just going to echo on to Chuck there. I mean, we would love to have as many businesses as we can to come and participate in our parade. Our fee is very low compared to some other communities for tax exempt or charitable contributions. There is no fee, so come out and join us. We have a good time. We will actually allow you to get into the parade. Sometimes even up until that day. If you show up in that day, we'll squeeze you in somewhere.
It's always a lot of fun. It's nice. I know that the first parade experience we had was in a different time, so there was no parade in that regard. But ever since then, it's been really good. The partnership between the community association and the city is great. It is, out of all the things we do, I think this is one of those things where everything really is a very finely tuned machine. Everybody kind of knows what they need to do and what the roles are, the routes and things like that. I think the only thing in question is whether or not I have the power to control the weather that day. I put in a good word for decent weather. We'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. So you mentioned the Grand Marshal information. That's great. It's always good to recognize any of those school activities that, especially when you get to the state level. So I want to put a plug in there for that because there's another team that made it to states. I didn't know if you guys were aware of it. The Reynoldsburg esports team also made it to states. So just throwing that out there if that's something you want to look at.
We actually did invite them, and a lot of their
Please
kids.
tell me they were playing video games.
Well, a lot of their kids are graduated and this, that, whatever, and it's kind of hard to get them committed. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we did extend an invitation to them.
I really would have found it funnier if you would have said they were playing video games. They were practicing for the next season. Well, that's good. So you guys don't need any help, right? You're perfectly fully staffed. You don't need any volunteer, or do you need some extra help? Not just for this, but in general.
We are always looking for committed volunteers. The Reynoldsburg Community Association is, it's an all-volunteer organization, so we meet the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 at the Reynoldsburg Visitors Bureau, which is behind the Heartland Bank there. And so if you're interested and you enjoy participating in community events and planning and organizing community events and want to come out and volunteer, we would love to have you join us.
Just to let you know, the events that we sponsor are the 4th of July Parade, the Community Halloween Party, which is a big event here in the city, and Christmas on the Town.
Yeah.
So anytime if you want to come out and join us, we'd love to have you come out.
It's always fun just to give a little bit back, and it's not one of those things where, yes, maybe the day of the events there's a larger time commitment, but as far as like the meeting schedule and some of the other stuff, it all kind of comes in phases. You're going to have a little bit early on, and then it ramps up the closer you get to the event, and then when you're done, you're like, why did I ever do this? And then you're ready to start the process all over again. So, well, I appreciate all that. Anything else that you want to share? How'd the spaghetti dinner go? I mean, I was there and I ate a lot, so I assume it was...
It went very, very well.
It was really well attended this year, it
Yes.
seemed. Yeah, which was good.
And we were excited. Brett could share, a couple weeks ago, he had the opportunity to present the first, was many, of our RCA scholarships that went to a deserving young person from Reynoldsburg. So
Yes, a young lady named Alana Cooper, who will be attending the University of Cincinnati, studying international studies of some kind. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I will tell you that she was ecstatic to receive the award. And hopefully it's something that we can keep on doing, because our motto is to improve the lives of the citizens of Reynoldsburg. So that's one of the ways we thought that we could really help the Reynoldsburg citizens.
No, we appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's great to partner with you. Looking forward to the 4th of July. We have the fireworks before, and then we have the parade the next morning, which is really good in one sense, but at the same time, that morning when the alarm goes off, it's like, oh, really? Already? Especially after being at the fireworks the night before. But we're looking forward to it. And then again, obviously, we had a meeting earlier today getting ready for the Halloween stuff as well. So.
And one of the things you also might want to keep in mind is next year for 2026, we're hoping to have a grand parade for the country celebration.
Yep.
So we've been working with the city trying to get that going.
250 years, it's going to be a good thing. So it's not because I'm turning 50 that year, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for coming in. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Have a great day.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we're going to bring in, it's summertime, everybody's done with school and things like that, but reality is we've already got things going on for football, so come on in. How we doing?
Making sure we can get to the next
I was
community
going
meeting.
to say that's going to be one of those things. So there's a lot obviously going on. Football is not. It's not only a sport that's played in the fall. You guys are already working as far as summer camps, drills, things of that nature. And I know there's things that you can and cannot do, but you have a really cool event coming up this weekend. We've been talking about it on the show for a little bit. So tell us all about it. There you go. I mean, tell us about it and why are you doing this and what do you think the benefit is?
Yeah, so we're having our youth camp June 7th, Saturday morning, 12 to 2, Reynoldsburg Stadium. We have over 250 kids registered already. We have 4 former NFL players come out of retirement to come support. We'll have a coaching event that morning for coaches of our youth league, just so that we're sharing the same message. So the expectations at the high school level is communicated all the way down to our young people, just to make sure us as a community we're moving, on the same page. It's going to be an amazing event. So I'm extremely ecstatic about it.
Well, there's always a lot going on, and especially the big concern this year is obviously what's going on with the school district, and we're talking about pay to play and how that's going to impact things. So I know I've talked with the athletic director, and we're trying to formulate some different strategies to try and find ways to increase the revenue and stuff like that. But it's things like this that are really good to build that goodwill with the community. And I've always said that there's a stereotype about some of our students, and I've not met that stereotype. What I see are the kids that bust their tail doing whatever it is, whether it's football, whether it's cross country, volleyball, track, band. It doesn't really matter. We just talked about it. Find me how many other districts in the Central Ohio area had 3 teams just in the last little bit go to state level finals.
Absolutely.
It doesn't happen that often. It doesn't happen with that consistency. Those are the cool things. So for you guys to do this is huge, especially in support of our kids.
Yeah, no, and I think it's at a perfect time because it gives us an opportunity to put our kids on display. So our football players will also be working at the camp. So when the community members come, the parents come, they're able to see our kids, how their behavior is, how their mannerisms are, how much they're committed toward improving every day. And so it's just good to put our kids on display. Even though our football players, we participate in Chat and Shoot, which is our high school program where we facilitate at the middle school level. It was so effective. Mr. Phillips, the principal at Wagner, asked us to participate in summer school and even extend the program out to mentoring. So when you think about, not just athletics, but the impact it has on decision making. And no, we can come up here and say all the difference that we're making, but look at referrals in the high school. Look at fights in the high school. Look at mediations in the high school, assessments in the high school, right? These things are improvements to what it's been. And we came in at the same time 3 years ago, so we were able to be a part of that improvement, actually see the kids benefit from it. And I think that once the community sees that the kids are benefiting from it, I think they're more able to support school initiatives, community initiatives. But just be participatory. Don't sit back and complain. Get out and see and participate.
I wholeheartily agree. So when people in Reynoldsburg, when you're not at the Artist and Makers Market this weekend, which we'll talk about when you're not there, can random public just come in just to watch and just to see that experience? With
Absolutely.
Sit in the stands and kind of get a feel for it.
Absolutely. And we've had amazing turnout already. Our first camp day was yesterday. First actually training day was Monday. And we've had about 15 parents come out already. All our testing, when we strength test, when we condition test, is open to parents. We set up room in the weight room so they can see their kids. They can't come across the line, but they can take pictures and able to cheer on their kids. And it's been, our parent involvement has really improved over the years. I was here with the last 2 coaches that were that were the head coaches of the team. So I was able to see the impact and the difference of the parents. So I'm extremely appreciative of that.
I think that some of the kids would probably appreciate it just because, they want to see their parents' involvement. Some of them probably don't like it because when they went home and said, no, I bench pressed, 400 pounds, like, no, you didn't. All right, so I got to ask, we all know that football is a huge thing, whether at the collegiate level and then also at the professional level. Just out of curiosity, what's your favorite pro football team? If you don't say Ohio State is your favorite college team, you can just go ahead and
so I believe. I'm loyal to who loyal to me. I'm a Miami University man through and through. So my favorite team, hands down, is Miami University, without a question. Professionally, again, I'm loyal to who is loyal to me. The Oakland Raiders drafted me. That's my favorite football team. Prior to that, it was the Cleveland Browns. So they fall in a close second, or they're first when I go home around my dad. But the Oakland Raiders.
All right, that's good. I get it. The Raiders are a fun team, especially being out in Vegas now. It's a completely
Oh my
different
goodness,
mindset.
yes, absolutely.
I'm a Steeler fan.
You're a Steeler fan?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, everybody in Ohio is either a Bengals or a Browns, and so I choose to argue with those folks.
Yeah, well, as a Steelers fan, I'm very proud that you haven't mentioned how many Super Bowl rings you've had yet, because usually that's worked into the conversation at some point in time.
Yeah.
I'm a Bears fan, so I'm kind of out. I'm the outlier. Like you and I, not that I was ever drafted by the Bears for some reason, but yeah, we're the outliers in all of that. So, but I appreciate, because a lot of that, we always look to that next level, and everybody wants to. They have the dreams, and whether they're ever going to play professionally or they're going to play college, the skills that you guys teach these kids about life in general is huge, regardless of what they do in the next steps. And that's why. So I appreciate you. We're definitely going to do whatever we can to help out, especially as this year goes on, to support you guys, and that includes everybody out there. Any questions or anything coming in?
No questions.
I would like to mention our partners that we have with our camp. We have 7 Mindsets who are contributing quite a bit of resource to this event, as well as Ohio State Life Sports, which will be facilitating a coaches clinic. And so we want to give those guys a shout out.
I appreciate it, and thank you. And I will. My intent is, if she ever lets me leave the Artists and Makers Market, my intent is to get out there just to get a little bit, see about what's going on. Just because it's important. It's something to be said about the Friday night lights and getting back to it and things like that. So we're already looking at those kind of schedules and want to be there to support the team. So.
And all information regarding the football team is on the Reynoldsburg Football Parent Association website. Our calendar, scrimmages, 7-on-7s. We're very transparent. We want parents to know and participate and be involved in everything, and to see where. So we get a lot of comments from parents like, my son is such and such. What are y'all doing? So come see. And so I'm excited. It's gonna be a good year.
I appreciate it. Thank you both for coming in, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Everybody, please reach out, support as best you can, not only our football team, but all of our athletics and school teams. But for this weekend, football only. All right, so we had a ton of guests all the way across, so we're going to go ahead and push those out of the way. Let's just talk about a couple of other things that have come up. So we have Reynoldsburg City Schools. There is actually a special board meeting tomorrow. It is technically it's called a work session, which allows people to participate in discussions. It looks like it's going to be a discussion on what to do about the school financial situation. Will there or will there not be a levy? We're not 100% sure how that's going to be, but that's going to be something that's coming up tomorrow. My understanding is it's just a work session, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of public commentary involved, but they are going to be talking about some things about where they're at. If you missed that but still want to participate, board member Neil Whitman has his office hours every Friday from 3 to 4. Some of it is online, some of it is in person. You heard about the football camp, but also I think this is actually the last day of the Reynoldsburg boys basketball camp, so we've got that going on. Did want to say a special shout out to the VFW for our Memorial Day ceremonies the other week. We had an opportunity to recognize Memorial Day at Silent Home Cemetery and Seceder Cemetery. Silent Home is in between basically that Lancaster and Graham area, and then you have Seceder Cemetery, which is right behind BB Bop, which no one knows that it's there, but there are actually some Revolutionary War veterans at that location. The VFW is very busy. They go to a number of different locations as honor guards, so that we decided in collaboration with them that we would kind of limit it to those particular locations in hopes that we can bring more people to those locations instead of having a third or fourth other location all the way throughout. In case you didn't know, it's after June 1. That means No Mow May is no longer an issue. So if you have not cut your grass, go out after the show is over and do it. Otherwise, code enforcement's on your way. But I did want to throw out, I don't know if we're going to do like an actual real online poll, but I did want to throw a question out there. So we get a lot of questions about parking. The world is different today than when it was established, 25, 30 years ago in a lot of our neighborhoods about how many cars people have and how many cars go in driveways versus garages versus on-street parking. And so I get a lot of requests every now and then to eliminate on-street parking. But if I eliminate on-street parking, then that means people are in their driveways and occasionally they cover up their sidewalks and things like that. So there's pros and cons to either. What do you think? I'd love to hear some thoughts in the chat over the next couple of days about what you think. Should there be more on-street parking, less on-street parking? If there's less on-street parking, then does that mean people are going to be okay if the driveways might be covered up a little bit? Just some interesting things from that. Nothing from the police department. Things are moving along well with them. We do have a Wagner Road update. They are continually working on the stormwater, which is on the west side. As you're headed basically towards Broad Street, it's on the left side of the road. We're working on stormwater. Once they get to a certain point, probably sometime around Messiah or St. Pius, that's when you'll start to see some of the curb stuff formed up on the backside. Taylor Road is open again. It's been for a couple of weeks now, and they are making great progress. They are only going as far as right in front of the neighborhood. If you're actually on Taylor Road, you'll see a staging area. That's actually where they're going to do the turn. So they're going to get to that point, and then they're going to head straight east all the way to Summer Road. So they are not going all the way down to Taylor and Broad Street. So they only have a little bit of that section, and I anticipated the rate they're going probably just a couple of more weeks there. We did have, as I mentioned at the library, a Bryce Road improvement open house, and while not everybody attended as much as we had hoped, there were still a good number of people there, and we talked about it. We're hoping that the people that showed up and asked some great questions there, in addition to some of the surveys that are out there, provide us with some information to send to our grant application, as we're asking for a pretty decent amount of money from the Safe Streets grant. Still waiting to hear back patiently to see if anyone from Congress, be it Congresswoman Beatty's office or Senator Moreno, Senator Houston, are they going to include the request that we have for additional funds like we had the last time. So trust me, once I know, you'll either hear a very happy mayor scream, or you'll hear words that I can't repeat on the show right now. In addition to that, we are going to be looking to start our alleyway work in certain areas. That's our Phase 1 street program. Phase 2 is actually going to start in just a couple of weeks. We're going to actually move that into council. The way that they have things set up is when you go and you pay driver's license fees, gas tax, things like that. Some of that stuff is kind of allocated to the various counties. So we have a certain amount of dollars from Licking County. So we're going to use some of those funds to do some roads. There's 4 courts that we've identified that definitely need it based on our system, and one particular road. So that's going to be up in the next couple of weeks as we gear towards next year, which will be a much more robust street program, as the Wagner Road Phase 1 project is kind of winding down, and we're doing some different things for pavement for Way 2. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Let's see what else we got. We did get our single-use plastic recycling project. We hit our goal for 1,000 pounds, and so we're already in the process of having that taken care of so we can get our next bench at McPherson Park, and we're already up to 252 pounds since February. So yes, we are collecting it. We'll collect it all the time. They raised it from 600 pounds to 1,000 pounds because we were doing such a good job of it. We will blow past 1,000 pounds really quick because they only allow you 1 bench per calendar year. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to accept your plastics. So we have it here at City Hall during normal hours. It's at the police department 24 hours a day and at the senior center as well. So if you've got those single-use plastics, go ahead and get those out. I believe for the first time we were getting ready for some adult volleyball starting on June 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. And so if you're interested in adult volleyball at the Reynoldsburg Community Church, we've got that one going on. Any questions before I get moving on to the next fun thing?
Yeah. Is there any update on the area on Lancaster Avenue where they have cut the trees down?
Yes, great question. That's actually one of the next particular topics that I have, but cool that you got it in there. So right now, the whole project is based on whether or not there's going to be some multifamily there. So the process starts when they go to Planning and Zoning Commission and they give a moderately detailed proposal of what goes there. And then if it's passed at that point, then they do the real structural engineering. How do they determine what, the engineering fees, parking spaces, they, verify that all of the engineering is correct. Because what they cannot do is they cannot alter the water system to the point where more water will run off with the buildings on it than it is right now. And that's where the previous couple of projects have run into issues. They get to a point where they get everything done, but they can't close the gap on that last little piece because we are not sacrificing any of our requirements because we know that there are water issues in that general area. So they are on their 3rd reading of engineering reviews to kind of narrow down that issue. I've not gotten an update since last week. I usually don't get them until Thursdays, but I will check. If they're able to satisfy the engineering requirements for it, then the project can move forward. But until that point in time happens, nothing's going to happen on that. I think they took the trees down when they did because of something called the Indiana bat. If you're familiar with that, there's actually some requirements that if you're taking trees down for commercial purposes, you have to do it by April 1st. Otherwise, you have to do a tree survey and you have to have somebody sit out 24 hours and stare at a tree. Nobody really wants to do that, but it's fun work if you can have it. So I don't think they're going to go that way. So I think that's why they took the trees down at that point in time in anticipation that they're going to get that. But as soon as we know if that's going to project's going to move forward, we'll definitely share that with everybody.
Who do I send a request to get my road repaved?
That's probably every road that's going to be repaved based on some of our functions. You can let us know. Just message me, put it in the chat, and we're happy to take a look at it and figure it out. So earlier this year, the city of Reynoldsburg conditioned basically a road survey system. So basically a company went through and actually surveyed all of our roads all the way throughout the city, and they graded them based on a number of different factors. And so obviously it's, excellent, good, fair, poor, war zone. I don't really think there's a war zone, but it probably seems that way. And so then at that point in time, we'll figure out, all right, based on that, what are the priority roads the next time that we have funding available for it? Like I mentioned, beginning next year, there'll be a much more robust street program because the funding that we have been using the last couple of years had been diverted to Wagner Road. But phase 2 is going to be done through a different method, so that opens up some additional funding to hit those roads. So next year, it'll be a huge thing. All right. Other things. So I know a lot of people ask questions about, hey, what's going on where? And I saw some chatter on Nextdoor, which is not one of the social media pages that I follow, even though I do love my social media. And there were questions about, the city isn't telling us anything. The reality is, yeah, I'll be happy to tell you anything that you want to know if I can, and 2, just because I tell you what it is does not necessarily mean you may like it. So for a lot of people are asking, what's happening on the area where the sewer work is being done? I'm here to tell you that the sewer work is all that is being done. That land currently is actually in Etna Township, so it's not Reynoldsburg. But we have an agreement with the property owner to put that sewer extension to go all the way back to Summit because it will allow for development on the backside towards Summit Road for some housing that's going in through MI, which will start in the next couple of weeks. It also opens up 80 acres of commercial land that is south of the elementary school for development. And the most important part to me really is extending that sewer line. So if the school district ever does have the opportunity to build an additional middle school, that sewer capacity will be there for them to build that middle school, so they do not have to pay for that themselves. This project is being financed with money from the state of Ohio and what they call TIF funding. So basically that money that comes from the property taxes will then be allocated to help pay for this particular project and those extensions. The project overall is probably going to be about a $5 million project, but it will not cost the taxpayers of Reynoldsburg anything because all of it is reimbursed or picked up on the back end through those property taxes. But as of right now, there's absolutely nothing else going on that particular piece of territory. If there was, I would tell you because it's all public record, but there is nothing going on at this time. We'll see what happens if there's something does happen, but as I said, this is currently right now in Etna Township. So hopefully that answers some of those questions. But again, I do highly encourage people that if they want to ask questions, I think people know that I'm going to answer them, whether it's in social media, whether it's on the show, things like that. I'm happy to talk about it. I can meet you at a coffee shop. We can go for a walk and talk, which I'll talk about here in a second. All sorts of options. So the city's not really trying to hide anything. It's just sometimes we know what we know and sometimes we don't. Like I can't tell you for a fact what's going to be coming in certain locations. I can just tell you rumors, but when I tell people rumors, they're like, oh, I heard the mayor said this is exactly what's going to happen. So that's that. We do have a bunch of events coming up. We mentioned already a little bit about the Artist Makers Market. It's going to be at the Livingston House. There's going to be unique products, all sorts of cool gifts. There's going to be some music, and it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the food truck is actually going to be one of everybody's more popular ones. It's Cousin's Maine Lobster will be there. So if you're interested in that, come on.
That's Bowser's.
That's Bowser's?
Yeah.
Bowser's is going to be there. So apparently the note that I got 20 minutes ago has been canceled and referred to. So what is Bowser's? Is that
hot dogs?
Hot dogs? All right. So then instead of lobster, then in a roll, now you can get a hot dog in a bun. So there you go.
But Cousin's Maine Lobster will be at the market off Main.
Cousins will be at the market off Main, which is this Thursday. So that'll be the other one. That's what that one is. So come on out there for that. Did want to thank State Representative Meredith Lawson-Rowe for her town hall experience the other week, but she has another one. So before you go to the market off Main Street, you can attend State Representative Lawson-Rowe's town hall at Baldwin Road Junior High from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Probably topics that will come up will be everything to do with the state budget, but specifically when it comes to property taxes. So go ahead and check that out. Council President Shawnette Strickland will be there and others answering your questions, so go for that one. We do have some other cool events coming up. We have Groove in the Berg with the Grove City Band and the Clintonville Jazz Band. That's going to be on Saturday, June 21st at the Livingston campus beginning at 5 o'clock. And that'll be in an effort to raise some funds for the Reynoldsburg Theater Department. They're going to be here next week on the show to talk about that as well, so we're looking forward to that. We also have a cool thing, the Reynoldsburg Community Baby Shower. It's for parents and parents of new parents-to-be, for kids from 0 to 5 years old. It'll be on June 28th from 12 to 2. It'll be at the Postal Worker Union Hall off Lancaster. It's a great opportunity to get some extra things in this time of needs for our youngest ones. You already talked about the 4th of July parade, and apparently there's this tomato festival thing coming up.
It's
When
coming
is it?
up.
Yeah, it's coming up. It'll be here pretty quick. We did announce one of our great guests that's going to be here. The last one is going to be there. Mint Condition, the lead singer from that, will be there on, that's the Friday night show, correct? And so I know probably about 3 minutes at best after that was announced, I started getting messaged about, hey, when are the tickets going to go on sale for the reserved seating? Usually we do it just after the 4th of July. So unless something changes, count on about after the 4th of July for that particular one. So stay tuned. Usually what we'll do is we'll open that up probably after the show sometime in July. A couple of cool things about June. June is Men's Mental Health Month. That is just as important as a lot of other things that we're celebrating in June this year, so keep that in mind. That men also need to make sure that they pay attention to their mental health so they can enjoy the rest of their life fruitfully. And then the other topic I have is kind of an interesting thing. So, there's always wonderful things that go on in our city, and sometimes people love them, and other times people don't necessarily. So this week there were a lot of commentary on social media, specifically about our Pride event. This is the same Pride event that we've had the last couple of years, so it's nothing different. But for some reason this year people felt that they did not like it. And I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to attend. There is no official city mandate that requires you to go to the Pride event that we have here. But if you want to go, please come on in and check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of up and happiness, great music, and all sorts of things there. And then other times we get kind of things where we get conversations on emails. So this is an email that I received from a resident in the not too distant past, about 2 weeks ago. And I do believe that they represent a very small minority of people here in the city of Reynoldsburg. But at the same time, this is some of the things that come across. This resident was upset because it seemed that there might be a small out-of-home bakery by their particular house. And so I'm going to read from their email. I am assuming certain businesses also need to be inspected by such things as the health department, so I will be calling them also. If they are proper, I intend to make sure that they are watched. We have enough rats and roaches now in the neighborhood of the humankind, thanks to you. We don't need any more of the animal type. One more thing, at least now you don't have to stress and worry about Smith & Walensky possibly locating to Reynoldsburg, your dream of being so like New Albany. However, I can't imagine Smith & Walensky building into the back streets of Mumbai, or New Albany allowing itself to become the ghetto as you have done here in Reynoldsburg. I don't send that out because I want any sympathy for it. This is part of the job. I signed up for it, and I know exactly what I'm dealing with when it comes to that. What my issue is the characterization of our city. Reynoldsburg has been a welcoming community for longer than I've been here. That's one of the reasons my wife and I chose to live here. Some people might not appreciate the diversity of our community. I think an overwhelming number of people do, judging by the amount of people that come out to Pride and Juneteenth, which is also next weekend, as well as Diwali, including all of our other events, including Christmas on the Town, the Halloween Festival, and things like that. I am proud to be the mayor of Reynoldsburg. I do not believe that we are what that person says we are, nor do I believe that the residents of Reynoldsburg are in any way, shape, or form related to that. It's unfortunate that people feel that way, but I know that everybody who is watching, and hopefully those that might watch later on, they look at that with a moment of pause to think to themselves, is that really the kind of community that we want to be? Do we want to be that kind of a hateful aspect of things? And I'm pretty sure that almost all of you are going to look at it and go, no, that's not who we want to be. We want to be something much more positive than that. So that's my message to it. People are free to believe what they want. They can attend Pride. They can attend Juneteenth. They can attend the Market off Main, which if you don't, Jennifer will be sad, but you should probably attend. But outside of that, if you don't want to, that's the wonderful thing about America. We have the options to choose where we go. I know where I'll be for Pride and Juneteenth and Market off Main, amongst others. So I hope you will join me and see me there. If you can't make it to any of those, we do have our next walkabout, June 11th. And this is going to be by basically Quarry Park. So that'll be on there. That'll be my next walkabout. I only had one person join me the last time, so I hope you have the opportunity to join me this time. Just because of the simple fact that I think it's a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity to find out about what's going on in development, and if you have other questions, comments, concerns about anything that goes on. Now, on the fun side of things, something that I got a message to by another resident, did you know on one of the first shopping carts was actually introduced today in 1937, It was invention of Sylvan Goldman, owner of the Humpty Dumpty supermarket chain in Oklahoma. One night in 1936, Goldman sat in his office and wondering how customers could actually move more groceries. This leads to a lot of questions for me. The first one is, did nobody want to think about a grocery cart before? How were they getting groceries to any? These are things that are there, but apparently he came up with a great solution. I'm going to assume that it's like all things, like why didn't we think about it ahead of time? But shopping carts are important, specifically when you put them in the cart return when you are done with them. It's a very simple task. Even back then, the Goldman family figured that one out. So everybody else have a wonderful rest of your day. Are there any other questions, comments?
Well, I was just curious about your yard sign you
That's
had
a
there
good
behind
question.
you.
I appreciate that because I knew I was going to forget something about that. So we had a couple of questions about this particular yard sign. This was done by our community, community group about 3 years ago, and we had a number of these yard signs, and for whatever reason we thought we were out them, but as we were cleaning out and getting ready to do some things with the Tomato Festival, lo and behold, we found extra. We don't have a lot of them, so we'll try and have some of them here at City Hall if you would like to pick them up. We'll leave them by the front desk. There's only about 10 of them or so, give or take. So there's not a lot there, but hopefully we'll kind of bring those back in the not too distant future. So
That's it.
for everybody else, if you don't have any questions, please know that next week is going to be a special 12 o'clock show. We are going to be joined by Councilwoman Mildred Johnson because she has to work. And so she apparently, her boss won't give her the time off to do the appearance on the 12 o'clock show. So we'll do that at 3:30. We'll also have the guests Groove and the Berg in there, and we'll recap everything from the farmers market to the artist and makers market, the football thing, and everything else, plus all of the events that we've got coming up in June. Everybody else, stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please remember to put shopping carts away. Honor the Humpty Dumpty grocery store. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.